Hi, grade sevens. So today we're going to be talking about tone and mood. And like I had said at the beginning of the unit, tone and mood are two poetic devices um, that normally people tend to mix up or tend to think are the same thing, and actually they are quite different. So we're going to start off with tone first. So when we talk about the tone of a poem, we're looking at what we think based on what we're reading is the general attitude of the person who has written the poem. So some examples of the attitude you might see in a poem are humorous, respectful, angry, silly, sad, sympathetic, or mocking. Mocking almost being like sarcastic, someone being sarcastic. So here are some examples. So it says, "You forgot your homework? Yeah, right. Did your invisible dog eat that too?" The tone that you should take from that the writer is trying to convey is that of sarcasm. Now, if we look at the sentence closely, we can try to figure out what words gave it away. First of all, the fact that they are using hyperbole at the end, your invisible dog, eat that too, that would kind of show us that there is some sarcasm there. Also, the yeah, right, probably after you forgot your homework. So those are just some hints by reading those two sentences that would allow you to realize that the writer's tone is that of sarcasm. The next example is, "I would never have expected that you would do something like this. I had such high expectations for you." So in these two sentences, the writer is giving off a tone of disappointment. What words might give this away are, for example, "I never would expect this from you." And also the writer using the term I had such high expectations, meaning that in the past they expected you to do well, but then now in the present it's looking like maybe you didn't achieve what that person thought, so they are feeling a bit let down. So there's lots of different words in those sentences that would show you that the writer's tone is that of disappointment. We're going to look at one more example. So here is another example. It says, "I don't care why you were texting her. What matters is that you did, and I'm done with you." Oof, rough. So the tone that the writer is conveying there is one of anger. You can tell not only even from the words in this one, but also from the punctuation. Lots of exclamation marks showing, a dramatic expression. "I'm done with you." Definitely those are words of anger for sure. So the punctuation and the words here would both work to give us clues about the writer's tone. So here is an example in a poem, and again, what the writer's tone is might be your own interpretation. This is called "We Real Cool" by Gwendolyn Brooks. So it says, "We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we thin gin, we jazz June, we die soon." So depending on your interpretation of that poem and looking very closely at Brooks' words, maybe her tone is indifference. That would be my guess, but maybe you have a different interpretation of the tone of that poem. But by looking at the words closely, you can interpret the tone of the writer. Now, the opposite of tone, which is the writer's feeling about or attitude about what they're discussing, is mood. Mood is the feeling that you as the reader gets from reading this text. So here is a kind of a paragraph, and as I read, try to think of what mood comes to mind for you as you're listening to the paragraph. "An odor of rotting flesh crawled mercilessly up my nostrils, prickling each nose hair. Deep trash littered the room from center to circumference. I flipped the sticky light switch to see a host of rodents scurry atop the piles of dishes, colored green and blue by rotting and molded food. So, if you think about what mood that might make you feel, for me, when I read that, definitely I felt a mood or a feeling of disgust. And I think it's partially too because the writer uses a lot of descriptive words here, so you can really create an image in your mind when you're reading this paragraph. Definitely brings up a lot of kind of disgusting images. For example, the colored green and blue molded food, host of rodents, lots of things that maybe would give you a feeling of disgust. Here's another example. The sun is shining, the air is clear. As I walk down the brightly lit path, I hear the sweet sound of birds chirping in the trees. So, what might the mood of this passage be? So when I read that, the mood I kind of take from that is that of happiness, because of the sun and the air being clear, listening to the birds. You could say happy, maybe you'd say relaxed or a peaceful mood. The last passage we're going to look at is this one here. So it says, there was no moon, and everything beneath lay in misty darkness. Not a light gleamed from any house, far or near. All had been extinguished long ago, and those at Wuthering Heights were never visible. So when looking at that passage, you might take a different mood from it or a different feel from it than I would. For me, it seems kind of dark, maybe a bit like scary, ominous, would be some examples of a mood that I would get from reading that passage. But as we've discussed before, mood can be interpreted in different ways depending on who is reading the passage. What I might take from that might be different than what you would take from it, so just keep that in mind. It's not exactly the same as tone because it's your own interpretation. So on the worksheet I'm going to show you, you're going to be comparing and contrasting the tone and mood of two songs. The first one is called Roller Skate Jam, named Saturdays, and the second one is The Truth the Dead Know. So here's the assignment. As you can see, I've put I've put a song on each side of the sheet, so you can read one and then read the other, and you can compare them right next to each other. So once you're done reading the lyrics of the songs, you are going to fill in the table. You're going to describe the tone, the mood, and the theme of each song. So all you have to do is to click in the empty box and just type a sentence or two about what was the tone the writer kind of gave off. For mood, what were you feeling as you read the lyrics of those two songs? And then lastly, for the theme doesn't have to be very long. It could be even just a sentence. What do you think the theme of the poem is overall? The theme of the song lyrics are overall. Once you're done filling out the table, on the left-hand side, you can answer the question on the right, and the question on the right says, are the tones and moods of these songs similar or not? Please explain using examples from the song lyrics above. So I'm asking you to take direct examples to justify your answer here, and that shouldn't be hard because all you have to do is copy and paste from the page above. So that is it for our lesson on tone and mood today. If you have any questions, you can message me in the classroom, comment on the assignment stream, send me a Gmail. Remember that office hours are from 1 to 2, so if you need me to go on Google Meet and meet with you personally, I can do that as well. And that's it for today. Good luck, and we'll be chatting soon. Bye.